I was saying. Good evening, and let me present quickly assignment 4, that is the assignment for this week. So this assignment will last one single week, and as I was saying on Telegram, this is a short assignment because it's a bridge between assignment 3 and assignment 5. So in theory, we could put this inside assignment 5, but then assignment 5 will be too big, too long, and so we prefer to keep it separate, but it's a small assignment in preparation to assignment 5. So the assignment is asking you to do 3 things, just 3. So the first one is you get some violations on both prototype from multiple people. Let's say 2 people for prototype 1 and 2 people for prototype 2. And then you list all of them together, the one for prototype 1 and the one for prototype 2. And you merge any duplicate that exists between the evaluation you received. So let's say that on prototype 1, evaluator 1 and evaluator 3 say that there is the same heuristic, the same violation on the same heuristic on the button cancel, and you merge them because it's actually the same violation. So you create one list, one table with all the heuristics merged together from the various evaluators, and you do this for both prototype separately. From them, you have to choose one prototype. So you have a list of problems on prototype number 1, and you have a list of problems on prototype number 2, and you have, as a group, to make a decision. Do you want to continue with prototype number 1, or do you want to continue with prototype number 2? And that decision, choose one prototype to work on and give a reasoning for the choice. And the reasoning can stem from the heuristic evaluation, should stem from the heuristic evaluation and from the violations you have received. If it makes sense, you can also consider moving some features to one prototype to the other. For example, if it minimizes some disadvantages, some violation of the prototype you have selected. So let's say that you have selected prototype number 1, and there are some features in the second one that you want to bring there. You have to have a motivation to bring them to the other prototype. It cannot be, we like those. It should be, we move them here because moving, it minimizes some issues, or because it was particularly appreciated in the other prototype, and so we decide to bring this strength to the first one, to the one we selected. And in this case, if you move features, write down any change that you plan to perform. Also because you maybe have a prototype as a mobile application and the other one maybe is a tablet application or a smartwatch. So of course, moving features doesn't mean moving exactly the same screens because they are different. So point 1 of this, list summary. Summary the first step. List evaluations, merging duplicates, choose one prototype, make any movement from one prototype to the other, and list motivation and changes for those decisions. Point 2, create 2 screens in medium fidelities. Just 2 screens. You have maybe 10 screens in your prototype, just 2 in medium fidelity. That's why it's 1 week. And which screens? So using Figma, for instance, etc., pick 2 of the screens that are the most significant of your prototype. What significant means in this context? It could be the most important pages, or it could be the pages that receive the most violations, and so you have to apply most changes. Or it could be the pages that will change according to the movement of feature from one prototype to the others. So the 2 pages that much more of everything else, of every other screens, change from the paper prototype to the next iteration of the prototype. So the 2 pages that will bring with them either the most changes or they are the most important, significant, relevant page for your prototype, and you want to be sure to do them properly. Then let's say as a reminder, medium fidelity prototype should be without color, so still in grayscale. And each page must include all the button, text boxes, etc. necessary to perform the main action within the 2 pages. And you may also want to create the connection between pages, if it makes sense, if the 2 pages are one after the other. And similarly, if there is any, let's say, animation, like you have a button that opens a menu in that page, so that button, that menu that is within the page must be recreated as well, because it's part of the page. So step 1, again, let me do a summary. Step 1, list the evaluation, pick 1 prototype. Step 2, create 2 screens of the selected prototype, incorporating the changes that those 2 pages are subjected to. And step 3, make a plan for the high fidelity prototype. So you have a list of all the evaluations. In addition to the one you maybe have fixed on those 2 pages, you have all the others evaluation on that prototype. Then make a plan on how you are going to fix them. So violation number 1, we're going to fix this by renaming the button in this way. Violation number 2, we are going to change the flow in this way. Violation number 3, we are going to do this. So make a plan on how you're going to do things in the high fidelity prototype. And if you disagree with a specific evaluation, you can disregard that. Like, oh, violation 4, we don't agree with that. We don't think it's a real violation, and we would like to challenge the evaluator. And in that case, justify the decision. We disregard, we are not going to fix this because this, and that. So this, you have to make a plan for all the evaluation with severity level 3 and 4, because they're the most significant, but also any other level 1 or 2 violations must be fixed as well. You just can be quicker in making the plan, because probably they are smaller things. So write down how you plan to solve the evaluation, and all these changes must be then reflected in the high fidelity prototype that will start next week. So again, this week, put together the evaluations, choose 1 prototype, create 2 screens of the prototype you have selected according to this reasoning, and make a plan on how to fix the evaluation starting from next week, that is assignment 5. Let me say 2 things. Well, and then there is a deliverable. So by the deadline, so by next Tuesday, put on GitHub the 2 screens you created in a static format, PDF, PNG, whatever, and a README that just lists this thing. Because you have to write down, and we want to see these things written down by the deadline before moving to the high fidelity prototype. There will be no feedback in this session, but still we can have a look at the repositories, and we can talk, of course, with the group during the lab of this week. And then there is grading criteria, as always, for the exam, in this case again. All these things are also required in the final report, for which the template is already online, and I will present it in a later lesson. But you can also look at that template to see if you are missing anything, or you need to write down better something. But it should be exactly what we are going to ask you here. Okay, so tomorrow I will then present assignment 5 that is not yet online. We will put online this week, and assignment 5 will start next week, and we'll end 7 days before the exam session, the group selected. So the last assignment will start now and will end whenever you will take the exam as a group for the first seat that you decide to attend. Any question on this? Yes?
About the prototype we are choosing, for example, I have no knowledge about development of mobile application. Is it important to consider that for next phase or no?
So the question is, I'm repeating for the recording because it's a good question. So the question is, let's say that we choose a prototype that is a mobile application. And in the group there is nobody, or the majority doesn't have any knowledge on building a mobile application. Is that a problem? The answer is, typically is not a problem because it's a prototype. So we never said that a prototype of a mobile application should be done with mobile technology. You can do it as a web application that looks like and behave like a mobile phone, right? So a mobile page. So it should work as a mobile application, but it's not implemented as a mobile application. But that is assignment 5. But it's not something to keep in mind right now. So it's a prototype. So in some cases, the mobile application is the simplest one. You can use other kind of technologies to make it a prototype that looks like and works like a mobile application in this case. So in this moment, don't have this as a strong criteria for selection. And then, of course, if you have virtual reality or augmented reality, something like that, at a certain point, even if done like with web technology, you have to do something with some level of virtual reality with some library, so there will be something like new to learn about. Okay? Any other question? Okay, so if you don't have any other question, I will stop the recording.